Daytrading Radio presents a Briguy trading production.
Hey boys and girls, traders, how are we doing tonight? This is Briguy, Tools of the Trade, and we're coming to you live from Woodbridge, New Jersey with an after-hours show of Open Mic 4 in a series. This is Briguy on Daytradingradio.com with our weekly Tools of the Trade show. I know since I started doing the after-hours show, I kind of got away from doing the weekly shows, but I am trying to get those back on track and highlight some interesting tools of the trade for you guys. Sorry, I'm wearing a zipper on my jacket, and it's scratching against this stupid wire, and hopefully not coming across and driving you guys crazy. Unless you're a famous designer, in which case you can hear the saliva clicking around in my mouth. And I don't mean to aggravate you with that. So, let me just check an incoming text message we have here. See if it was a member sending in an alert that maybe my fly's down. Liberty Global to buy Virgin Media in a $23.3 billion deal. Liberty Global. Okay. Well, there's a little news for you. And so now that we got that out of the way, let me close out my PowerPoint. Apparently PowerPoint has a codec that was not working properly and was refusing to play the video for you. So just give me 1 second, and I'm going to bring on a special guest for tonight. Kumar is going to be coming on. We're going to talk about a few things that have come up in the chat room in regards to trading, and this should be a nice show. And we appreciate when members are able to step up and come on the show with us tonight. So let me get my video sharing set up for TeamViewer, and we'll see if we can talk to Kumar over TeamViewer. If not, we'll talk over Skype. Okay, so bear with me for just a moment or two. I can see your Word document there, WordPad anyway, and quite a few of your charts.
Okay, but why is this WordPad still there?
WordPad is now gone. There's a delay. If you're looking at the screen,
okay,
I'm going to see you do it right away, but the broadcast will take a good 10 seconds or so to show.
Oh,
and
wow.
if you're going to move your mouse, just so you know, there'll be, because it's only recording at 5 frames a second, or broadcasting anyway at 5 frames a second, then for the live audience right now, they won't see you click things if you click them too fast.
All right. Okay, back to the WordPad thing. That was the first thing that was there.
Yes.
So I can see your other screen on my other computer, and I can see the delay. So I had to wait for this to show up again. There we go.
Well, just so you know, the people watching us won't see it in delay. You'll only notice the delay. But if you just talk regular, then they'll be seeing it 5 seconds from now as if it's really happening.
Okay, but I have to wait for it to show up there. Otherwise, I would be talking. I don't want to talk from my screen. I want to talk from what's being shown.
Whatever you like.
Okay.
Hold on a second. I got Jimbo saying lost audio. First he said loud and clear, and then he said lost audio. How about now? Let me make sure I have my own thing here. Now, if you talk, I'm
good here.
We're getting nope. You know what? Maybe what I have to do is maybe my Skype is not coming over the... No, it should. If I can hear you in my headphones, then they should be hearing you out there. How about now, guys? Are you hearing any difference now?
Gone like the wind, hearing impaired. Why are my lips moving? I got a sore throat.
A lot of that going around.
Yeah. My throat is very scratchy, so...
Okay. So, let's start over. Good evening. This is Briguy on Daytrading with an open mic episode. And we have with us Kumar, who has been one of our more regular guests here on the show. And we appreciate that. And we thank you guys for checking in with us tonight. And now that Dila has shown up, I know Kumar will have a little smile on his face. And maybe he'll be able to get through this, sore throat and all. So we've had some discussions in the chat rooms about a few of the things I notice on your screen here. Volume profile, for example. And I see that you've broken it out into various sections. So I'm looking forward to learning this. So why don't you take it away and explain to us the differences of the VPOC and the other variants.
All right, I think I should start by saying good evening. As you mentioned, it all started with our dear friend Learjet talking about VPOC the other day. What I have on this page is the market auction theory, which was started by Stoudemire and Dalton. So I'm not going to go into that at all. But before volume profile came into existence, market profile had come into existence and people were using market profile. It had its own terminology. Subsequently, volume profile came into usage. There is subtle differences. Market profile is time-based, and the term quite often used there, or not quite often, is always used there, is a TPO. There's the time price opportunity price, where the price spends the most time. It's called a TPO. But people moved away from the time. They thought time wasn't really of consequence. Volume at price was of more significance. So from that came the terminology volume point of control. That's the price or the volume price where the volume had the most volume there. So the terminology for this thing is the VPOC, which is the first one, is the volume point of control. It's the most volume there. I'll show it by the pictures. A sub-variant of that is a naked VPOC. It's used in a daily context kind of thing. Today's point of control, volume control, point of control is VPOC. But if we gapped up today, then yesterday's VPOC becomes a naked VPOC. We'll show you that on the chart.
Okay.
Then we have these LVNs and HVNs. This is the terminology, what the disagreement sort of showed up kind of with Learjet was more the terminology issue than anything else. So LVNs and HVNs are the two terms used, low volume node and high volume node. Micro composite profile is also a volume profile, but it encompasses n number of days. It goes over a few days. I have charts to show that.
Okay.
And micro composite profile has its own VPOC, and that's called micro composite VPOC. So, and finally then there is the composite profile, and the composite can go, like my composite goes till the beginning of whatever, 2006, as much data as I have. Volume profile going n number of years or whatever one may choose. That's called the composite profile. The composite profile has its own VPOC, which perhaps doesn't always come into play, but it is there, doesn't really have a name except composite VPOC. But what it does have is it has CHVN and CLVNs. When one talks in the context, if FT were tweeting something and says LVN, HVN, they would basically refer to what happened yesterday's profile. Whereas he would, if he were to tweet CHVN at 1502, that means that node is from his composite profile, not from his daily profile.
Okay.
And if there was something from micro composite profile VPOC, he will say MC VPOC. You see, this is just, they're all VPOCs in a sense, or they're all nodes. But it makes it easier to sort of know what one is talking about. If somebody says, oh, the VPOC is, that's why I got confused when Learjet said, oh, my VPOC is at such and such place, or whatever the level was, I said, no, it can't be. And then he showed me the chart and it was okay. But the question is, when we say VPOC, or the people who practitioners of volume profile, they mean on a point of control, volume point of control on a daily chart. If it's a composite chart, then they will say MC VPOC. You know, those are kind of terminology differences. Let me remove this thing, and chart is a better way. Picture. Okay, so I had to wait for this picture to load here. Pause. I can read whether anybody's saying anything.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions as we're going along, feel free to post it in the room, and you can address it to myself or to Kumar, and this would be a good time to get this fresh in mind. So now, to somebody who's not used to looking at this, and you know, I've been putting it on my charts. Your charts, I think you have what, Ninja Pro?
Yeah,
and graphically,
yeah.
I feel like it's visually a lot more appealing than the blockiness that I get with Thicker Swim. But at the very least, if somebody has never looked at this before, maybe you could just point out where the profile is located on the chart so that they can understand what we're looking at.
Yeah, I'm waiting for this thing to go away. I'm still looking at the how do I get rid of that? It's not on my chart. Finally.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to see how clear this is. I hope, well, it's not. I hope it's readable. Unfortunately, I can't make the levels or the
best I could do is zoom into the window, and it'll bring in the resolution a little bit. But unless you increased your fonts or something.
I can't do that. That's not an option. But okay, let me see. If you say zoom, can you zoom on the rightmost profile here? Because that's today's profile.
Okay.
If you can zoom on there.
Okay. Again, it'll take a second to update.
I think it seems one just has a few charts to show. Maybe it's quicker to sort of post the charts and put them up.
Take some pictures, yeah. Well, you know, you can always send those to me later if you just want to go over the basics of it.
Yeah.
And then we can put these in the members' room, or you can post them later.
Yeah. All right. No, I wanted the rightmost one to be in the more visible. You can't shift anything.
Well, I've actually already done it, but the video you're watching is on delay, so it hasn't even caught up to what I've actually done.
Okay, so I just had to wait a minute for that. Anyway, well, people, it loads and whatever is going to happen. The red line there, right in the middle. Let's leave it at that. That is the VPOC for today, VPOC for today. The pattern, the hills and valleys, that's the volume profile. Within the volume profile is shaded green area, and that's the value area. Today's value area.
Okay.
This blue line is VWAP. I just noticed today Learjet was saying Apple is trading at its VWAP. It's the volume weighted average price of the security. It's a VWAP. So that's the VWAP line there. So you can see that it's very clear from the profile itself that the most volume is traded at level today, which is 15. The scale has fallen off, which is 1505. That's the VPOC for today. So if somebody were to use the term VPOC, I would know exactly, what it is. This has other lines, and now I think to explain it further, you might have to push it back so that the other profile is showing.
Okay. Can you recenter your window there?
Yeah, mine is.
There you go.
I just can do this thing.
Okay. It's set. You can go ahead and start explaining.
It will come up eventually, but I can start by saying this, which is not showing fully here on the left, is the profile from yesterday. And you can see the greenish area, the value area top is, and it shows here as YVAH, value, yesterday's value area high. So when we talk about value area, we're not talking about value area as it is evolving today. The value area is actually defined by the value that was established yesterday. So when somebody says that today ES opened outside the value area, because in the morning there is no value area for today. So we are talking about the value as it was established yesterday. So this is, we open there and went wherever we went. So we talk, there's a value area high and there is a value area low below that. But anyway, we'll just come to this place. This is kind of interesting.
So if I could just mention for the viewers what Kumar is pointing out here. Here's the volume profile from February, the end of the day, February 3rd. Or I guess really would be Friday, February 1st.
Today's what? Today was 5th?
Today's the 5th.
Okay, Tuesday,
which
Monday in the middle, and Friday.
Friday's on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the green area, you'll see this green dashed line that goes out to the right, and it extends throughout the entire day Monday. And that's labeled YVAH and YVAL, which is yesterday value area high, yesterday value area low. And I see how this works on your platform is that it extends it across the entire day. So in this case, since Monday we gapped down, we never traded within that range.
Yes, but here, okay, before this is even interesting thing is when you look at Friday's value area high, value area low, which is 1505.
Okay.
This green area right there, which is also the midpoint of Friday's 1505.
Which is this MID and a small arrow here.
Further down, after the whitish area, the bottom of the green shaded area on Friday. Further up, further up, further up.
Oh, I just left my mouse there.
No, up.
How much higher do you want to go?
Okay. I can show it by iPad. I don't know whether my mouse won't show it in real time.
Yeah.
You see that? No, this is the VPOC. The red line there is the VPOC. Is that my mouse or your mouse?
That was mine. I stopped moving my mouse. Go ahead. You're in control.
All right. I put my mouse somewhere on the midline now. Hopefully it will come there.
Yeah. It's on a little bit of a delay. So.
Okay. Let me not move my mouse so that it shows up there.
Sure.
If you go right across from 1505, there's where the red line is today's VPOC, VPOC.
I noticed that.
and go all the way across to Friday's profile.
Yes.
That is the bottom of Friday's value area. It's also the midpoint of Friday. It's also right there.
So, in other words, today's VPOC was also Friday's mid-range and value
quite
area.
Close to that. Quite close to that.
Or low, value area low.
And typically what happens is once it gets into a value area, there's a good chance it will go to the value area high. And it did go to value area high of Friday.
You mean today did?
Today did.
Today's trading went right up to the value area high of Friday.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And beyond.
Yes.
But it covered, once it goes into value because it wants to know what's on the other side kind of thing. Is there a value there? It's price discovery. It's called price discovery. Okay, I'm in a value area now. Where do I go kind of thing. Okay. So everybody thought there was value there and it went further up. So that's the value area part of it. But there is a red line there, which is the VPOC for there. And in the middle also there is a red line. That's also VPOC there. Now there are three VPOCs on this chart. One is the profile in the middle, on the left and on the right.
Which is Friday, Monday, and Tuesday.
But you see the one in the middle, that red line goes across?
Yes.
Because something happened today. That VPOC of yesterday has been tagged as a naked VPOC.
Okay.
Some people call it a virgin VPOC also, but mostly it's called a naked VPOC.
I saw that when I went to go look up VPOCs, and I got a little bit lost when I started reading about virgin VPOCs.
This Friday's VPOC was also a naked VPOC till it got covered. The price visited that. That 508 level was a very important level to watch for today.
Okay.
Because 508.50. And that was kind of thing because these VPOCs are, in this case, naked VPOCs. They act as magnets. The price gravitates towards those.
Mm-hmm.
So once the price broke through into the value area and wherever it was, the close of Friday, the chances of the probability of its getting to what was at that time a naked VPOC at 850 were high. It was a high probability kind of a thing. And it did visit that.
So did your platform draw that red line across the screen until it got hit?
Yes, and then once it gets hit, it is removed. It's no longer. You see, that's the distinction.
Interesting.
Now, if the price were to fall tomorrow below this red line, which is a 94.25, which is yesterday's profile, that if that got hit, then the red line will go away.
Okay.
Because that's no longer naked.
Okay.
I have another chart. I can, where they are. But this is the intraday chart, so I wanted to explain this thing on the intraday chart, and if there is something, let me sort of bring up another chart here, so that I can answer anything about that particular chart.
Interesting. Wow.
I'll bring up another chart.
Sure.
Here, which will show up in a few minutes. But anyway.
Okay. So before you go into this chart, let me ask a question. A couple, at least one or two questions came in the room. And that was, how is the value area defined? That would be the green range of the volume profile. Someone furthers gave it as a definition of 70% of the volume is traded in that range.
Yeah, 68.2% or 70%. That's just whoever calculates. Not much of it. But
so it's a fib number.
Yeah. Yes, it is a fib number.
Interesting.
But people are not that particular about it. 70% is, why bother about 68.2?
Right, yeah, exactly. It doesn't make a whole bunch of difference.
Ninja, this person whose indicator set I use, Rancho Dinero, I think he gives a choice of using both. If people can be that fussy, they don't want to use 70%, fine.
Okay.
But there isn't that much granularity or precision in that,
All right. Well, now you just made another point, so let's explain this. This is NinjaTrader. But to show this, you're using some kind of an add-on?
Yes, it's an add-on from, these are ACME add-ons. He's known on Twitter as Rancho Dinero.
Rancho Dinero. Does it cost anything to get the code?
About $800. Varies from about $500 to $1,000+ depending on what version of it you get.
Okay.
because there are lots of tools. You can just get a basic profile, or you can get things which export data so that you can do your own studies and things like that. So it's a very comprehensive set of tools, and one doesn't need everything. So it's, I think, varies from about $500 to about $1,100 or $1,200.
Okay.
Various packages.
So this picture that you're having on the screen right now, how much is that running me?
Me, I have a full version.
Okay, so it's not costing me anything to have this on my screen right now.
No, it's not costing you. But
you're giving away the secrets here. I just want to make sure.
No, it's not costing you.
I'll have to open up the bank account.
This is a freebie.
Okay, and then just
he should be
briefly,
happy. He should be giving me, because I'm demonstrating his.
Yes, you should get his information, and we'll get you a cut. Now the VPOC itself, how is that figured?
It's the 70% of the volume. The most volume traded that day. Where the most volume traded at that particular day. The center of the whole thing.
All right. So the highest point of the volume.
Yeah, volume point of control.
Now, what happens when there's 2 points? Like I'm looking at the center of your screen, like January 29th.
Yes, that is iffy. There are never two exact, because I can't do it. I don't know whether I can do it on this chart. You can put there is a possibility that it is a double distribution day, and double distribution days are not unique. But to have two exactly volume, sure, there may be, a few hundred contracts different, so that it can be. But when you are trading, you would pay attention to the fact that it was a double distribution day. And even though the software shows just one VPOC, one has to be aware of that fact.
Makes sense. Okay.
Software will only show, that's the human kind of thing.
And just for a second, the guys at home are saying that the audio cut out, and it looks like the video may have even cut out briefly. I'm recording this, so we'll have this posted in the members' room, and you shouldn't have any cutouts in the recording. The broadcast is a little suspect right now because I have too many programs open. But anyway, so go ahead. Why don't you explain why you brought up this chart here? This is it says 405-minute chart. Is that basically
this is
a day?
4 minute. This is the day session, RTH session.
Okay.
And now we don't use. I don't, and most people they don't use the daily chart. Daily chart, one can look for other reasons, but the RTH session chart is 405 minutes. So that's what we use, and we draw the profile. Now this profile is very similar to what it is, but this kind of it's not a 5 minute. The bars are not 5 minute bars. They are, so to speak, daily bars. This is one RTH session. I just wanted to show what is here in terms of a profile has several things that one has talked about. So these are daily profiles, and below that you see those red lines, they are the naked VPOCs. The ones at the top there was one at the top today that was covered today. And new naked VPOC, as I mentioned, at 1494 from yesterday was created today. There are a couple below there. And I don't know, I think this one, there are more further down there, but let's not worry about that. Now, on the right-hand side is another profile, which is a composite profile. There is a slight difference. Again, it's a terminology issue here, kind of, how much of a purist you are. A micro composite has a start date and an end date. And I will get to micro composites in a while. A composite only has a start date. Your composite starts from a particular date. This profile on the right hand, sticking to the right edge, has a start date of November 1. Right at the bottom there is a date there which is not readable. It is November 1, 2012. important to note here in the context of where we are trading today, I put this greenish line here, which is a sort of the peak of that bell shape there. So it's obvious here that from the point of view of trading, this was the most traded region or the most accepted price.
Mm-hmm.
So what has happened after we had several days of hanging around here, coming from there, then the price decided what is it going to do. It went up, didn't find anything other, came down again and went up again. So the price is still sort of geared towards wanting to go up. People are seems wanting to go up to find value further up there. What's the word? Discover the price up there, but whether it happens or not, and if it doesn't happen, the chances are once it comes back to this accepted region, then it will fall down. And wherever it falls down we'll see. I'm going to break. Okay, how do I do this? I need to do something here. Okay, I think I have it.
And someone's asking, Furthers is asking, how many days you go back to look at the value areas when you're trading?
On an intraday basis, just couple of days. But yesterday's value, today I would look at yesterday's value and day before, like today it was yesterday what happened. And it was, Friday became important because today we traded out of value in a sense. Because we did not trade in yesterday's range, we were out of that range, so I had to have some, you need a kind of something, a kind of a ledge to hang on to.
Right.
So what did I have there? So I just looked at Friday, okay, makes sense kind of thing. But if it were trading on yesterday's range, I wouldn't have perhaps necessarily bothered about Friday.
And it's interesting when I'm looking at this chart, the VPOC, today's VPOC is basically at the highs from last week, a couple of days. Was that Wednesday and Thursday?
It's gone up, yes, but
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Friday, yes, it's high, but Fridays was higher. Today's is lower than Fridays.
Yeah, but today's VPOC is last Tuesday, Wednesday's high of the value range.
Yes.
So it's amazing when you go back.
Yes, and you look
can
at it,
see how it all comes into play.
This was kind of those 2 days. This is as far as the buyers wanted to go, but today that was where they sort of accepted that price and wanted to venture out higher. They sort of accepted that price. Once they got there, okay, so that sort of automatically becomes the chances of the price falling below that then sort of get reduced. The price goes up, then it might come down again, and you sort of feel that will provide support there. Now, I have to move this chart slowly. I think there will be a delay, so if people need to keep an eye on what is going to happen, I'm going to move that. What you will see is that these profiles will move towards the right.
And is the composite profile going to change?
The composite is changing at the same time.
Okay.
Because the way I have set it up, and this is also a unique feature of this guy's software. As I said, this composite goes back to November the 1st, but I have, so many dates. But by moving this left, what I'm doing is I'm removing the most recent days from the composite. So you see how the composite shrinks.
Right.
So now there are, as you will see, you will go to the end, that composite has gone from there. So I have left with this. But what I'm going to do now is, the chart it's going to come up again.
Right, because we were down in that lower range.
We were on that lower range. So this is a kind of a dynamic composite, the way this guy has set it up. So any point, what it does is at any point I want to see what did the composite look like, for example, in these, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in the middle there. What did it look like kind of thing? I can just gauge from the composite what it looks like, whether there is any significance there once the price falls there. I can quickly sort of go to any area of.
And I see some naked VPOCs showing up.
There are lots of naked VPOCs, and those green lines are naked gaps.
Okay.
Gaps have not been covered. So we've been going up and up and up. So there are lots of. So in a sense, there is a lot of work to do. So once it starts coming down, there is a lot to track it downside. I have one more chart to show, at least one more chart. So while that chart is up, let me bring this chart up here because it's already up. Great. Okay, what is shown in this chart is on the right-hand side is a composite which goes to, in my case, August of 2006. I just put everything there. The lines, yellow, red lines, are what are the composite CHVNs and LVNs that we were mentioned. These are the composite low volume nodes and high volume nodes, which are shown by the green lines and the red lines there. Those pertain to that composite.
Now, are they by days or weeks, or that's not how it's measured?
No, those lines are these are just volume concentrations.
Okay, peaks and valleys.
Peaks and valleys of volume.
Got it.
Simple peaks and valleys. There is no duration in the concept in these things. Time is other than collecting volume for a particular a number of days. There is time is nothing else. Now, where time play? You see this first rectangular or both these rectangular boxes?
Yes.
They are what are called microcomposites. And notice that there are three. Now they're also called VPOCs there. That VPOC is the VPOC of the microcomposite.
Okay.
So we have a VPOC on the daily composite, and we have a VPOC on the microcomposite, and we have a VPOC on a composite also. But if I were to tweet or say something, or as I said, FT tweets whenever he tweets, he would have tweeted today something like 1906, whatever it was on his chart, 1496.50 is the composite VPOC.
Right.
Because you wouldn't use the word VPOC because VPOC pertains to the daily profile. And what has happened here is there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, excluding today. All these days have been combined to make a little volume profile or a little microcomposite, as the term signifies, of those many days. Till 3 days ago, I didn't have Friday included in this thing. I had only up to Thursday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. But today I included yesterday also, so Friday automatically gets included just to see where it is. So when the price goes up, and tomorrow if it comes down, this 9675 is going to be a significant level, and kind of would see whether the price would go. This is a significantly accepted price over the last 5 days. So do the buyers or sellers accept this price and go back and try to discover value above, or do they think, no, lose faith in this and this thing that conditions have warrant that they explore or discover the value below? In which case, then, once it falls off this microcomposite, one will then hang on to this microcomposite to see what is going on there. And this microcomposite has its own VPOC, and it has its own LVNs and HVNs, wherever they are. So some are more significant than others, but that's the microcomposite, and that's the microcomposite VPOC, written as MCVPOC or called MCVPOC, even though the software says here VPOC.
Okay. So now's where I get to poke at you a little bit, Kumar.
Hold on a minute. Let me see whether there's anything on this chart that. Let me move it up. How far this chart goes. Somewhere. Does it go? I should have shown it on the other chart. All right. Okay. See this thing? I can show it in an evolving, but that will take a lot of time. This entire from August 2006, this volume profile has a VPOC at 1285.
Okay.
How far? I'm just saying that it even in this has, but then there is one here, but then this one 1345 is equally significant here. 1307 is a very significant low value node here. Anyway, that was just for. All right, what else is there? Nothing. All right, I'm done. Go ahead and ask.
Okay. When we were having this conversation last week, and I was using Thinkorswim to display the volume profile, and I'm on a 1 minute chart, and I'm using the term VPOC for that 1 minute profile, and you were taking issue with me using that term because the term VPOC really refers to a daily VPOC. And here you have a micro profile, and it's still calling it a VPOC.
No, that's what I'm saying. This is the software, but that's how the terminology is used. And I didn't take issue with you. I did, however, take issue with Lair. What he did is, your VPOC was okay, but before you joined, what Lair had said, what he did say is he compressed his chart and said, I see VPOC at 13 or something, 13 something like that. So that is what threw me off, you see. Okay. So I said, there is no VPOC at 1309 or 1399 or whatever. What are you talking about?
Right.
Then he squished the chart. As he said, as I can showed you in the other chart, you can really scrunch the chart and include more number of days and a fewer number of days and change the shape of the profile. That's exactly what you do on Thinkorswim also.
Yes.
You can include more number of days if you use.
But when you do that, you're getting a composite VPOC.
You're getting a composite VPOC. Yes.
Okay.
That was the only issue. You're getting a composite VPOC. That was nothing else.
Understood.
So when he said I got a VPOC at and I'm looking at a VPOC, and so that was the only issue. So I mean, this otherwise VPOC is the term, but just to avoid confusion, if you call everything a VPOC, then what are we talking about? So it was just that in common parlance we just use the term microcomposite VPOC. Otherwise, they're all obviously for that microcomposite. That is the VPOC. There is no other issue.
Okay.
They are VPOC.
Well, I appreciate this because I've seen some of FT's posts and I did not understand the nomenclature, and now I do. It's going to make a whole lot more sense to me when I see his posts. I'm looking at some of them now. He's got from earlier today, for example, where he mentions 150850 and VPOC.
Yeah, that's the naked VPOC.
That's the naked VPOC that was there.
Yeah,
no longer there.
No longer there.
1512 CLVN.
Yeah.
That would be what?
Composite low value node.
Now, do we understand the default composite area?
Okay, this
or
is what I was.
Does it mean anything? Is it always like a week, or is it always like 2 days?
No, there is no default. You can you can pick up your how much data you want to pull in.
Right.
The question really here is that the closer the dates, the more significant the data, the further out it is. Who knows what happened 5 years ago?
And you start blurring the lines.
So, for example, I have, you can see here, this chart hasn't come there.
This you said was 4 or 5 days you put together.
Yeah, these are this, yes. So these are more important. The other one that at the back of it goes back to, as I said, 2006. And I see I have a line there at 1514.
Yeah.
And that is computed by the software. So I have a VPOC and 14. But on my other chart, because there are depressions, so I expand it and see where the depressions are. And let me see my daily. Where's my daily chart? I can show you what I didn't show you on my daily chart. Where's my daily chart? 4 or 5, 3 minute, 5 range, 5 minute. Is it 5? Yeah. Let's go back to this thing. It might become a little more clear here. Is this chart? Okay. There's something that is hidden from there because there were too many lines.
Mm-hmm.
Watch this.
Oh, my.
No. No, they haven't. Have they come? Yeah.
Well, they come for me. I'm reacting to it live.
Right.
Everyone else will see it.
Yeah. Let's talk
It's like
about
a radio delay, in case you curse.
Let's talk about this chart.
Okay. Very colorful.
Well, there are mostly greens and reds. You see, this top red line here is 1508. Now, what I do is I read the composite and pick up the significant CLVN or HVN, the low value node or high value node, and I put it on my intraday chart. So, for example, I have 508 and 1508 and 1508. I have 1075. I have 1075 and I have 1475. I don't have FTs, whatever you said, 12 something.
He has 1512 for CLVN and 1514 for CHVN.
Okay, I don't have 1512. I have my chart. I have 1510 and 1475 in CLVNs.
Okay.
This is to the best of my, different people. There shouldn't be, but I don't know what date range he's using for charts.
Exactly.
So that would make a difference. So these red lines are CLVNs and CHVNs. They are the composite. They're not. The LVNs are not drawn. For the LVNs are quite obvious. When I'm looking at today's chart, I know yesterday's LVN. I can see it here. I don't have to draw a line for that. The lines I do draw, for example, there is this golden line in the middle at 501.75. That was the overnight high. From the Globex session, I got the overnight high, overnight low, and the overnight VPOC. Right just under the overnight high is this line, overnight VPOC. So those are the three things that I extract from the Globex and put them on this chart, on the daily chart, so that I don't have to deal with Globex part of it. But these are the levels, and when I don't want to look at the levels, I just remove them. That's also courtesy of the guy who's designed the software.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they, sometimes you think you don't need to.
Now, can you remind me what the nodes are referring to? When we say high value node and low value node?
I think you got the right term. Peaks and valleys.
Oh, okay.
Peaks and valleys.
So there's more than one?
Yes.
Per profile?
Yeah, lots.
I got you.
Lots. Today we've seen, I would be looking at tomorrow I would be looking at here at 825 is an LVN. Right above VPOC at 505.50 is an LVN. Also these, of course, it's a little late in the day in the sense the profile is already established, but in an evolving profile, if there is an LVN and the price has gone above that LVN and then comes back to that LVN, then I would watch that carefully. The chances are that the price might bounce up from there because that LVN has formed, that is a rejected price. So when the price is pulling back from above, comes to the LVN, then there's a good chance that it won't just fall through, it might just go back. And the price tends to, I was about to say the price tends to go rapidly through these LVNs and HVNs because either the price was rejected and then it's rejected again and it doesn't stay there. And same with an accepted price, which is HVN. But often price just hangs around there and, for a long time doing nothing. Like, for a long time, it just hung around. This came to be on between 505 and 505.75 for a long, long time. It did nothing till it finally broke out. It just
All right, so you're bringing up another point that I wanted to make, which is how do you use this information to trade? So now that you've established these areas, and let's say you took a position for whatever reason at the 1503.5 that you have on your screen there for today.
Okay, let me describe what happened today.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. First, we opened above yesterday's value to start with, and it wasn't sort of... There is another set of terminology, and I don't want to sort of get into it. It's called... There are opening types in market profile, open drive, open test drive, and all those. That's a whole other ball game. I don't want to touch that.
Okay.
So this was technically called, I think, an open drive. It just went straight up there. So what am I looking at with all the market events and all those things? So my first line I'm looking at on what happened on Friday. You see on Friday, from where we auctioned, when price and auction is the term because this is all called an auction. From where it auctioned or opened today, all this range Friday, there was very little auction on Friday. You see how thin profile is on Friday?
Yes.
So there was nothing really happened. So the price therefore went up because nothing really happened on Friday. There was enough market incentives, so the buyers were quite active. Mm-hmm. And the first line of defense was the value area low here from Friday.
Looks like 5 1/4.
Exactly. So that was really where we got. After that, we got nowhere. Then there are, in between, which I said are these levels. I had this 506. I have a composite CHBN. This is an accepted region. Now, typically, when we talk about these, particularly, think of a bell shape. Okay, this is where is a bell shape? Okay, look at this Friday. It's a kind of a bell shape.
Okay.
It's a balance. It's a balanced area.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So the price,
even distribution on either side of that.
Even distribution on the other side. If you ignore the bottom half of Friday,
right,
and look around VPOC, it's a fairly balanced distribution here. And the theory is the price goes from through the balance from LVN to LVN. Because balance is the accepted price. So the price, buyers and sellers in agreement, there wasn't any disagreement on the price. The disagreement, the buyers and sellers, was where there wasn't much of an auction in the sense where the CLV, these LVNs or CLVNs are. So the price then tends to move to either one or the other lower volume node as the price discovery mechanism. So that's how when you come to a high volume node, you then wait for it to see, okay, which way is it going to go, what's going to drive it, and obviously you take cognizance of the fact what the market events are, whatever news are there, what's the probability of it going higher or higher. And for example, today, at 506.25, there was a double top there, and still it came down to the blue line is the VWAP is a very interesting line. It came, tested the VWAP and went up again. Once it tested the VWAP and went up to 506, it was pretty much foregone conclusion that it's going to go and test higher. And the obvious thing was once it gets there, there's a naked VPOC at 508 there.
Right.
And then the value area high is 509.50, and Friday's high was 10.50. So they were kind of levels. Okay, now it's going up. How far high is it going to go? So even broke through Friday's high. And as I said, for whatever reason, I seek to have one line at 10.75. I mean, it's not that FT had 12. If I look at my composite, I'm sure there is a line there. It's just a question of how many lines do you show on, kind of thing. You go by a few set of lines. They're
right.
Guidelines kind of thing. They're not, nothing is They don't mean anything. You just sort of think, okay, if the price is going to go, you accept, I might think it will go to 1075, and FT thinks that no, 12 is better. Well, it doesn't go that far. So, but that doesn't really mean anything either way. These are just guidelines kind of thing. What took place 5 years ago or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. So, just to go back, first thing in the morning, this dry run up you're talking about, I'm assuming, unless you already had a position taken, you wouldn't try to guess an entry somewhere in that range. Is that
No, I
fair
would,
to say?
because I already had overnight VPOC here.
Okay.
See, that was I do have this chart open up in the Globex in the morning,
Okay.
and I just closed it before 9:30
Mm-hmm.
because I don't like to see after that. Once I got my level and I knew where it is going to go, so then, you just take off, and you don't have to take off. The overnight high was 175. That was also yesterday's high. And Globex high was 175.
Right.
Break of that, you just take off.
Okay. So once you're in that trade, then, and I'm not trying to get too much into your own style if you don't want to talk about it. I appreciate everyone's got their little tricks. They don't want to give away everything. But as far as these nodes come into play, I'm just trying to expand the view here for myself as well as for the members here who are watching. And that is, as the price approaches these nodes, what decisions are you making about your position, whether you have one on or you don't have one on?
Hold on a minute. Just 1 minute.
Yep.
There's some interruption here.
Okay. You're listening to Briguy's Tools of the Trade here on Daytradingradio.com with member Kumar. We're talking about volume profiles.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
You'll have to repeat your question.
No, that's all right.
Or about the trading.
Yeah, so what I was getting at is, without getting too personal about your personal style, unless you want to talk about it, I don't want to impose upon you, but as a trader, for the purposes of our members and for myself learning to look at volume profiles, what decisions do you make as the price approaches these nodes, as far as whether you have a position on or you don't have a position on? Is there a decision that you're making between high value node areas, low value node areas, and even the VPOC and other areas? What kinds of decisions are you making as you approach those levels?
Okay, one question is very easy to answer for me. I'd never really take a trade at VPOC.
Okay.
that just doesn't seem to work for me, I would take a trade at the VWAP. If it came from the top and bounced off the VWAP, I'll feel more comfortable taking a trade there. That blue line is the VWAP.
Yes.
But I would, even if it is stuck, which today it was for a long time,
Sure.
at VPOC, I just, because there is no edge there, for whatever reason. Levels are no levels. You see, for example, right there was the Friday's value area low.
Yes.
So it really, all these lines are guidelines, and the market will do what the market does. I might think, oh, it should go up, but, it might not want to. And I might think that, well, it's been hanging around 506 forever and there is no thing, and I might short it there, and it might decide to go south. So one just has to sort of make, these are all probabilities kind of thing. As I said, one of the probabilities that I believe in is that once it gets above value area low, once it gets into value area, there's a good probability that it will go up. But today it got stuck for a very, very long time, so you don't trade anything.
Right.
But if one were in the trade from the beginning, what I do is, the typical policy is to, depending on how many contracts one is doing, scale something out to, if I'm trading one contract, I sit there all day, then I won't, make any money. But the best is to take, and most people I think do that, they scale some take off the table and, to reduce risk, and then if they get a better opportunity, for example, if today somebody got off at VPOC, and which answers your other question. What do these levels do? LVNs and CHVNs. I might scale ahead of that. I would typically say, okay, this is getting to a particular level. This was yesterday's close. Maybe, or this was yesterday's high of the day. It may not go up there. Of course, today it's all skewed up, but today, of course, it traded above yesterday's high. But, that's where it is. Those levels are useful to make judgment calls whether you want to get out of a position or enter a new position. For example, the other one is IBH. Where is today's IBH? Today's IB. Today's IB low is here. IB high should be somewhere here. IB high is, in the midpoint. This is so funny. The midpoint, the VPOC, and the IB high are all at the same point.
Yeah, look at that.
And that's interesting. So that's IB high is another point kind of thing. If again I'm coming from, if it is, well, today is in an extreme case, but if it is the price is coming down to IB high, then I would scale ahead of that. If I'm short from the top and I'm coming into VPOC, or I'm coming into VWAP, or I'm coming into IBH, I will scale out of that. Either close the position or scale out depending on what one is doing.
Okay.
So that's where those levels are useful to know.
Very good. So as the day progresses, that profile is getting drawn on the right side there?
Yeah.
And does the VPOC then, of course, move around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you can see, I don't know. There is a thin green line. I don't know how to show it there. If you follow this red line halfway down, you see, here it is. You see this big fat blue line, and then it curves, and there is that green line above that.
I lost your mouse. Where are you pointing?
Oh, okay, right here. Can you see my
That
crosshair?
dotted green line?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you follow that, that is the evolving VPOC.
Oh, the evolving VPOC. Okay.
Yeah. So at any point in time, I know where the VPOC is. If the VPOC is end of that's why the profile is not relevant at the end of the day. But at for example, at 11:25, the VPOC was at 350, 0.150350.
Yeah.
So that is relevant there. So I'm sort of looking at the price is trading above VPOC there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's both trading about VPOC there, about VWAP, it's not coming down. So that gives me the thing that, the shorts may not work out here.
And at that point, it was staying at the mid-range from Friday, pretty much.
It eventually moved to mid-range from Friday later on. Yeah, it just moved to there, yes. But then it stayed there in the mid-range for the rest of the time.
No, I mean, what I mean is the trading. The trading at before 11:30 on your screen there,
yes,
was staying around Friday's mid-range.
Yes.
And not coming down to the VPOC area.
Yeah.
And the VWAP was also rising.
Yes.
And still the price was staying up in that upper region. So
yes.
Does that mean you're seeing that 325 level perhaps setting up as good support?
Yes, you would sort of hesitate to think that, something will have to move as with time. For example, by the time we got down to 1 o'clock and later on VWAP had moved out, then you're getting closer. Then if it breaks down at VWAP at some point in time, then I would have considered that. But, it did try, for example, at some place it went to 303.5. Now you notice this at 12:35, there is the 305.
Yes.
That price there is 15.035.
Yes.
But that is quite in line with where VPOC was earlier in the day, earlier in the morning.
Right.
So you see the price does remember, these things happen very often.
Yeah.
It came down below VWAP, but how far down did it go? It didn't go below what was at that time the VPOC at that time.
Right.
Interesting kind of little things, but you keep an eye on it. You don't have to keep it in your head because you can see it, what's going on there.
Right.
So you see that it's not going, there isn't a short there.
And I noticed a lot of futures traders, they Are you guys looking at the 5-minute charts for the most part for your entries and exits?
Entries and exits are kind of irrelevant in the sense because it's all level based. So whether you can use a 5-minute chart or a 15-minute chart, I'm using a 5-minute chart because I wanted to pull in more profiles.
Okay, fair enough.
And but if you used a 15-minute chart, it wouldn't look very different.
Right.
It's the question of granularity. 15-minute is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
I actually use 5,000 volume profile chart. But that's just for the just to make sure to get the sort of like to see the wriggles more clearly. What is going on? So I use 5,000 volume chart. I don't use 5-minute chart. And it also saves me the temptation of when people talking about, I have a 20 EMA on my 5-minute chart. I said, thank God I don't have a 5-minute chart. I can't put any EMA on this thing.
Right. I just started to realize you don't have a lot of those.
It doesn't agree with anything. So.
Yeah. Well, and that's something I think Learjet even pointed out is to focus on price levels, and volume.
Well, that is what it is. I don't think it's easy, and I don't think I'm the best practitioner of it, and I haven't become an expert at it. But one has to convince oneself that ultimately it's price and volume. As they say, there's somebody in Stock Twits you used to. What was his name? Brian Shannon. I used to listen to him once upon a time, long time ago. I learned from him. Mm-hmm. Price only pays.
Price only pays.
Yes.
All right.
So.
Well, Kumar, if I can just take a moment or two, I want to... Give me a second.
I just want to...
Yeah, I was just hitting my cough button.
Sorry, okay.
We had a couple of questions come in. And,
I just noticed Jay's question. Can I answer Jay's question?
Yeah, that's probably one of the ones, but go ahead.
Jay, what I do is, MJ, you see, I just brought in 2 lines here.
Maybe you can mention the questions so everybody knows what you're answering.
MJ says that 2,500 volume chart is good for the open. What 2,500 volume chart, and I think that's a practice set by FT, what it does is you notice the closing swing. It's like there are some people who want to watch what the 1-minute action is or what the 3-minute action is, and they trade like that, what the price has done. So similarly, it's the opening swing, and for that you use FT uses 2,500 volume chart. I don't use 2,500 volume chart. Let's say open another chart. I used to have it. I just eyeball the closing swing and the opening swing. And then I put these 2 lines there. I just put in there those 2 magenta lines. I just put the chart there. They're very useful, at least during the initial first half an hour to an hour. They're useful to know where the price is discovering itself. The opening swing plays significant. I also use the closing swing, and sometimes that is very interesting. In this chart, where is this thing? Where are my closings? Right in the middle of the chart, there is this purple chart line going through across, and it shows on the right-hand side closing swing high. So that was the closing swing high I took for yesterday. Though technically the closing swing high for yesterday would have been 96.75, which was right in the middle of my MC VPOC, that bluish line there. Mm-hmm. So I didn't take that. I thought 95.75 was, so I put my there. That was also yesterday's mid, so I put my closing swing high there. And then corresponding to that is a closing swing low, which is below somewhere down there at around 490.
Okay.
So the opening swing and the closing swing lines are.
Now this micro composite VPOC is based on what composite?
This is the daily composite. This is not a micro composite.
Okay.
These are daily profiles.
But your blue line is labeled MC VPOC.
Oh, that's that one. That was the micro composite. Where was the micro composite?
So it's carried over from the other composite.
Yeah, you see this line here?
Yes.
No, this is further down. This is 96.75. 96.
No, that's it. 97. That VPOC's at 96.75, and
yeah, okay.
that's about
so
where
this,
it is.
Okay, this is this line.
So it's pulling the previous
Yeah,
composite.
I type this thing.
I
there is
understand. Interesting.
there is a thing to type the things.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Yeah.
So that one doesn't have to do these lines, this work every day. As I said, on a daily basis, I only need the overnight high, low,
Oh, I see.
and the MC VPOC, or the 3 lines that I have put in change there.
Right.
And, depending on where the price has been, some CLVN and HVN might change. Otherwise, they don't change on a daily basis. Now, for example, this VPOC has been there for some time. Now, I have to wait till see what happens tomorrow.
Right.
Price goes tomorrow and the day after, then this might change and might move around a bit. And then I will go and edit that line. But till then, it stays there. So so that I don't have to look at that chart. You see that I'm only looking at one chart because all the information has already been transferred.
Right. Very cool. Another question.
You will see, sorry, it'll be like Limey and others. He trades its volume profile. And on his charts, you will see a lot of them have micro composites and the composites drawn on the same chart. I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
They will have, that's their style. So
it depends on what you're used to.
They will have the composite also on the same chart. I just transfer over the information and then I'm done.
Okay. Another question came up a while earlier, and I didn't want to forget you guys, but when you are building your profile, does it take the overnight session into account?
When
your profile,
yes.
And I'm not looking at your time scale right now, but is that profile the entire session from 6 p.m. till...
This is the 405-minute session. That's all. It's the RTH session.
Oh, that's what 405 means. See, you were using some terms that I wasn't used to hearing.
Oh, RTH. RTH is the regular
trading hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And interesting.
405 minutes. And this is what it is. I can do this. Okay. Are you ready for this? It might take a minute. Okay.
Ah, interesting. ETH meaning extended trading hours.
Yes.
Does that include the RTH, or is it just the ETH?
No. Well, this... okay. So this is today that was. This is as it is evolving overnight.
Oh, right now, alive. Okay.
Yeah, this is as it is evolving overnight. And if we go here... This was the overnight session from, the previous night. What day is today? Tuesday. This was
that's Monday into Tuesday.
Kind of thing. What I said is what I do is I try to get the overnight high and the overnight low and the VPOC for the session.
That way you're not looking at the extended hours.
Then I don't have to have, because what is important to me is not what happened here. This is day traders are different from Globex traders. It's not that much real estate in a chart. It's more important for me to know, which I think I already made that point. Oh, come on. This is what the difference, one of the things in Think and Swim and here also is, this profile uses tick data, so it's more, it's sort of tick by tick makes this thing, whereas that thing, oops, what happened? Come on. Whereas in Think or Swim is the aggregation of data as it comes in, whereas here it's more, there's more precision here in whether it's based on VPOCs can disagree if it's a minute-based data aggregated or 5-minute data aggregated or
Yeah, and I'm going to explore that a little bit more because I only recently found out about volume profile.
So, but most there are, you can find volume at price, but that's kind of aggregating over things. Okay. Why I don't use Globex is, there's a two different set of traders altogether. People come in the morning, they want to make their money at 11 o'clock. Some come after lunch, and make their money and go home. They're not night, different set of people who trade at night. But if I had the Globex, I could have had the Globex thing open here. But look at what happened today. When it's trading today, I have nothing to lean on. But by not having the Globex there, this Friday's RTH session is more important to me than what happened on overnight.
Yes.
And you can see the significance of that is kind of cannot be overstated.
And really, you're looking at the view of the same group of traders for those periods of time.
Yes.
In a generalized sense. Obviously, some people could be up trading those crazy hours, but in general.
No, there are people trade, but I can make a composite. In fact, what I showed you was a split session, but I could have a single session, a complete Globex session with one profile. But some people trade like that. They don't care about split session or two sessions. They just have one session, and I can do that.
Right.
But I just find that's too much.
No, that's very interesting. Another point I wanted to make, somebody had gone through the trouble, I think it was Sunny, of grabbing the website for FT71, and she posted that in the room for everybody. And I scanned through the notes there, and here's what he has to say about his composite profiles. He says, he first explains what it is. It's data from more than one session. He says, I only have interest in profiles of data occurring during regular trading hours, which is what you just explained. Sometimes the big picture requires me to see what is happening over several sessions to determine high volume areas, low volume areas, and significant multi-session VPOCs. I do not, and he puts that in bold, I do not base my composites on a fixed time frame or number of days. The composites I use are based on the high or low of a rotation I'm trying to get volume information on. Please understand and distinguish the difference. The market doesn't care that I found out what the 10-day or 30-day VPOC is. Constraining my research to a given time interval or period is illogical and is not my style, even if it might work for others.
Good.
So I think that helps us to see that because I noticed even from your composites that they weren't all the same number of days. And I guess the point is that in a sense, and based on what FT is saying, it shouldn't be.
Because I want to see, for example, there is one composite here, but in this chart, there's a very different composite. This varies, which I showed you here. It has the property that, what happened where kind of thing.
Right.
It is not, this one is a very flexible one so that I know what is the area of interest and what happened there.
Right.
Oh.
And when let's say we get a significant gap down, this is where pulling up this chart is going to be useful for you to go and look back in time and see where those levels are.
Yes, this is where I have, there are 4 minute, there are 4 or 5 minute charts. I have 2 at that, but the composites on 2 are different, and this I use in conjunction with my intraday chart more than I use the other one. Other one, I just get the levels from CLVNs and HVNs, on a long-term basis, what they were. But this is what I might use because, this is more information here. 3 days, high of the day from 3 days ago is important to me if it is within the range. And this line here, for example, I'm looking at 1468, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row.
Yeah. And
you see this gap, this price is going to be rejected like anything. There's nothing going to happen on this price.
Yeah.
So either we will come down to 16,875 and race back up, or we are going to drop down to 60 and see what's on the other side. Nothing is going to happen here.
Right.
So this composite is totally flexible in that sense,
Excellent.
It has not. But as a composite, I have to give them specify the number of days. But that is because how the composites are created, and I don't have to make one every day. This is when the price falls there, and it will take care of itself. So.
Okay. I think those were the questions that I saw. If anybody had a question that I missed,
and I noticed that Sunny has posted futures traders. I did mention FTs several times, and of course, he comes here, but
yeah,
his site is there. I think that it's worth reading, those of them who want to get an idea, his terminology and all those things, and there may be some. When I attended all those things, I paid for the webinars, but there may be some paid webinars. Free webinars there.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, he has done. He has free webinars on Big Mike also, but Big Mike free webinars are only for elite members. So then you'll have to pay either $50 there, or you might as well. FT's webinars are quite reasonably priced, the whole package.
Right.
So anybody who wants an introduction to volume profile, it's worth. Or market auction theory, it's worth the price.
Well,
cheapest education, if you ask me.
And you just mentioned about the cost of this add-on to NinjaTrader, and I think we had some people joining us here and asking about that. So this is a paid add-on that you put here, have here, and you've obviously seen some value to invest that kind of money.
Well, there aren't any. I used to use some free stuff from NinjaTrader floating around. And there was another person who came who's actually a friend of mine. He started developing his own, and I was quite excited till this guy came along, and I sort of thought that this guy's got more legs than my own friend, so I had to ditch my friend. He was not very happy with me. But, FT uses, and many others, I think Limey also, they use IRT. So it's a question of, do you want to use IRT as a very, very nifty platform, but it's not a trading platform. Mm-hmm. It's an analysis platform, and you need a separate data feed for that.
Okay.
So there are two things. So FT's all this work is done on IRT, and IRT is a great thing. But you have to buy that separately and have its data feed separately. So you've got two things, and then you just basically from anyone, you can have a trading dome, and you don't care about their trading packages.
Right.
So this person developed this package for NinjaTrader, and I needed something if I was going to use volume profile. As FT would say that, if you're going to play golf, what kind of golf sticks are you using?
Golf sticks?
Yes. You need instruments that you use have the quality of the instruments. If the quality of the instrument ain't good, you won't be good at your trade.
That's right. And this is a business. If you want to make money, you invest in your business and have the best stuff, right?
It's pretty good.
Good.
I think.
Well, I'm saying best stuff. You know, sometimes you can't wait around for the best stuff. You got to get the stuff that works. All right. Well, Kumar, I want to thank you for coming on and giving us this insight here. This is actually very useful to me personally. I appreciate it. Because like I said, I just started to look at profile. I started putting it on the screen because some of the members were mentioning it, and now I'm starting to wonder whether what I'm showing from TOS is actually enough, and I'll have to poke around it a little bit more and see if I can get some more accurate data.
MJ wants to see market delta.
Market delta, okay.
Which I don't have. I don't use market delta, but this is what I use.
Okay, and what is this showing?
Mm-hmm. Does that help, MJ? MJ, is this what you were looking for?
10.4, he says.
This is the price ladder. How many contracts were traded?
Oh my goodness.
At what level?
And that's buy and sell?
Buy and sell.
Wow.
And this is the net. This market delta is a specific company, and this guy doesn't call it market delta because they objected. They said that's their trademark. Can't use the term market delta, but this is delta.
All right. So let's not us use market delta. We'll get in trouble.
So, but this is delta.
Very good.
Bid ask price. So
Yeah. Very cool.
And this is the.
So is that another module that you would get?
It's part of the deal.
It's from the same guy that you got the other day?
Yeah, it's from the same guy.
Okay. Very
So
cool.
This is all these. There are lots of things. I was trying to do a study. I had this indicator, but he came out with a new indicator, and that got me he changed his indicator to this, which got me very excited. So he came out with yesterday. I had another one which I wasn't so happy with, so I liked what he has done. But this came out only this weekend. Railway tracks I got there. But I have reservations about this. But these are VWAPs. You know the VWAP that we're talking about?
Yes. Were they in some kind of...
These are distance, these are variations. Think of it half...
standard deviations?
Well, it's not quite. Think of it as a standard deviation. Half a standard, one standard deviation, two standard deviation band, three standard deviation band. So how the price moves. But there's a little bit of a discrepancy here. This is this red line here is the day VWAP, and what I have here is the Globex VWAP. So it's another thing I use from Globex. But I thought I was going to do as a study instead of Bollinger or volatility bands, how price, but I just put it on my chart only yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to look at it. Just trying to get, so it's another indicator, but VWAP is not the same thing as a moving average, so it is an indicator, but does it help interpret price levels in any way? I don't know, so I just...
Yeah.
But I do use delta in the sense what is absorption is very helpful when you can obviously see that there is a lot of volume coming in, but the price is not moving, and then it's like Bollinger Band squeeze that at some point in time what's going on here. There's a lot of volume and the price does not move much, so it just, those kind of things happen. That was MJ's question for market delta.
Okay.
As I said, I do not wish to. This is. Can I just get something here? I'm not very fond of.
Of what?
No, I'm just trying to see. No, because I have found a couple of people on the site which use, they are either have their services or something, or advertise themselves or post charts, and then they want people to come. So I don't quite want to advertise other people, but since...
Well, listen, if you see stuff like that, please let me know. Because sometimes that stuff goes on, and the moderators are there to try to keep an eye on that kind of thing. But if you do see some of that, please let me know about it. Between members here, I don't have a problem with what you just did there because we're trying to help one another. I'm not going to make it part of the video though, and somebody can I'll put it in the member room maybe so the folks can follow up on it. But if you wanted to reach out to this guy and get some kind of an affiliate link from him or something. Me? Yeah, you.
No. I don't do anything.
Okay.
I'm not.
Well,
absolutely no.
Let me say this.
I mean, even if you mention my name to him, I was perhaps one of his first customers, or, when he wasn't even in the scene, but he might give you $10 off, but it's not worth it.
There you go. Well, it seems like a good tool, and you're making good use of it, so we'll leave it at that.
I mean, I do reckon those of them who don't have it, they can look at IRT and they can look at this.
Yeah.
I think IRT also costs money, $100 a month or something like that. But IRT is also great. So
yeah.
So I was corrected on. I said golf sticks. I was told Dai laughing told me golf clubs. So.
Golf clubs. Well,
I was corrected.
You have to speak correctly when you're around Dila. Absolutely. You got to watch that. She's, she didn't say anything for the whole show, but that she comes in to make sure we're all on the same page there with the golf
yes.
materials.
Oh, sometimes they're called irons too.
I believe they are.
What? Yes, the big iron is there.
And woods.
Woods, yes.
And
That's where Tiger got his name from, Tiger Woods.
Who's that?
Wasn't there a great Tiger Woods, the golf player?
Tiger Woods? No, I think that's just his last name. I mean, I don't know if that's a fake name.
Oh, did he sort of give himself that name?
I don't know. I guess I just assumed it was his real name.
Maybe his father gave him that name.
Assuming, right?
Anyway. So are we done here?
Well, I think we are done here, and I'm looking up it real quick. Yeah, his last name says is Woods, and that's his. Because I Google everything. So let me just say this, Kumar, because I do appreciate you coming on the show. Have you ever won the cash close contest?
No, never contested it.
Okay, neither have I. They think their thing's rigged, but I don't have a huge budget here on the show, but in showing my appreciation for you being here, I'd like to offer you something. And if you're interested, I can get you something like the Stock Traders Almanac, if you'd like, for 2013.
I mean, that's very nice of you to offer, but you really, what do? Publish that yourself?
No, I don't publish that.
No, you don't have to give me anything. I'm
going to track you down, and I'm going to give you something.
No, this is good for me. Thank you.
Get you some Omaha steaks or...
No, I'm good. Thank you.
But I do appreciate you coming on and spending the time.
If you have any money don't spend it on me. Give it into the fund there.
Okay.
You give it to that fund. I'm good. Thanks.
Fair enough. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Not at all.
Trade for Your Diehard says I should give you a kiss, and I'm not going to do that.
Oh,
and maybe that will be the gift.
I thought I got to get enough of those from what's his name? Learjet. One has to keep ducking.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he hasn't popped his head in here at all.
Yeah,
but he must be too busy.
Always lurking.
So, but thanks so much for coming on the show.
And not at all. Thanks for giving me a chance.
All right. You have a good night.
Good night.
All right. So let me just expand the window here. And I want to give thanks to Kumar for coming on the show tonight and giving us a nice little review there of the... And I have to close out the team viewer session. So let me leave that. And exit the program. But that was really awesome. I appreciate him spending the time to do that. I'll show you here on Thinkorswim. I've just added this study, and it shows up here on the right as the volume profile. And if I were to zoom, let me see if I zoom out, you'll see how the profile is built. I'm looking at a daily chart, a one-day chart, I should say. Let me change that to something like 5 days, and I think the profile will... Well, I guess I can't zoom out any further. But here, I'll go to another time period. Let's say I go to 60 minutes here. Let's change this to... All right, I try to change the time axis here. Oh, it is on 10. Well, then I'm just zoomed in too much. All right, so let's say I added the study in here. It was upper study and I believe just volume profile. So there's the volume profile, and it's just not very pretty. It's definitely not like Kumar's. Now they do have, I don't know if you could pick this up at home on this view here. Maybe I'll move this over. They do give a high and low value area, and there is this yellow shading because the background is black, so there is this yellow shading in here, and the red VPOC is right there in the middle. But that's about it. It doesn't really give you a lot going on there. And if I go to edit the profile, let me see what my choices are. I got custom row height, automatic, price changes, expansions, 1,000 profiles, value areas at 70% by default, and here's my profile high, profile low. Oh, and I see these are turned off by default, so let me turn those on. Show plot, value area high, value area low, and let's see what difference we get. All right, that looks like it just drew lines around the profile, which I don't know if that does a lot for me because it's pointing it to the right. Anyway, for myself, this is something that I'm going to take a little more time to follow and see how to make use of it for my trading. And I'd suggest you guys do that as well. Take a look and see what the futures have been doing while we've been running our show, and it doesn't look like it did a whole lot. We had the Aussie retail sales come out here at around, what was that, 8:30, 7:30 Eastern. And after that, we have just moved into another range here and trading in that other range, up $1.75 on the new session since the 4:15 close. The question you guys are asking me is volume at price or volume profile. The name of the study is volume profile. Volume profile. And it does have a lot of inputs and things I could play around with. Show plot names. Here's a point of control plot. More details, I can look at that. They'll link me to the website if you want to check that out. And then, is it volume at price? I don't know if there's a study called, let me look at, if I go all studies and go to the V's, we have volume accumulation, volume average, volume flow indicator, volume oscillator, volume profile, volume rate of change, volume weighted MACD, and there's VWAP, volume zone oscillator. So those are a bunch of studies, and there's just really a ton of them in Thinkorswim. There's even something called monkey bars that are a little similar to this, and I've seen that too, and I haven't really figured out exactly how to work that. So furthers, let me take a peek at that, and I will see what that's about. But for now, we'll see if you guys have any other questions here. Beanstalker mentioned that some of the other programs mention the they call this profile by a different name. So something I forgot to bring up during my after-hour show, and maybe I'll just take a brief moment to talk about it here, and that is, for those of you interested in options trading, and let me just bring this up on the screen. What we are looking at is Moody's. So I didn't get to prep this, so bear with me while I cover this live here. Basically, we're looking at the 1 minute chart, and here's where Moody's was taking this swan dive, this nice simple little dive here, and Johnny, Daytrader Rockstar, was taking some trades at that time, and my computer is not cooperating. Okay, so let me get the shout box up here. If I log in, and let's go to the home page, And bear with me, I'm going to try to pause the video before it starts playing, because that'll be a little bit of reverb. Alright, I think I got it paused. And now I'm bringing up the trade alerts. Okay, so here, this was around 3:15. So I had to be at a client's place in a meeting, so I was in a car when he was taking these trades, but I heard him talking about it. So he's taking a trade. In fact, what I can do is, as I've been learning to use my time level, he took one at 3:14, so that would be right about there. And then he took one at 3:27, or at least these are when the posts were going into the room. Okay, so we have a trade going on here. I can do another thing is to just do that and do that. All right, so those are the areas where the trades were taken. And at the end of the day, I heard him saying he was going to hold it overnight. So we'll see how that goes. It's trading right now at the end of the session at 45.22. So still up from his average here, which should be somewhere in this range. Already up a couple bucks. But if you wanted to trade, I'll get to that in a second, Pelican Bay. It's a good question. If you want to trade options, I want to show you, because RJ, I want to give him credit. Shout out to RJ. He took a trade on an option for Moody's, and I think I pulled up the quick chart on Moody's. So that's this chart here. I'm going to do my best to show this. Let me change the style, and I'm just going to try to match this if I can. If I can match the zoom. Let's see, I'm on a 2-day 1 minute, 2-day 1 minute, and here's 16, and that's 55. Let me see if I can get, yeah, I'm not going to match the zoom completely. So instead of trying to do that, I'm just going to show you the prices here. So here is the Moody's, and if you could look up here at the top, it tells you it's the February 46 call. Okay, so as this price is coming down, and this is just a strategy for you to think about. And Dyla also mentioned about picking up a call spread, and the spreads can work as well for this, but definitely going with a straight call or put is going to give you your unlimited upside and your limited risk. Now here we are at 10:20, so the start of the day. Let's just call it the start of the day. And remember, options don't necessarily trade every minute of the day. You might see a bid and ask, but that doesn't mean there's trading going on. In fact, for the day here, it would probably be good if let me see if I can just move that to another screen briefly. And let's look at the day here. The traded 323 contracts today. And the high of the day was 350. The low of the day is $1.32. So take note of that. And that's what we see here. The high of the day is 350, and the low of the day is $1.32. So at the beginning of the day, let me come back to the chart here for Moody's and see if my computer catches up with me here. All right, so here's the beginning of the day. Moody's is trading up in here in the 49 level. So at that point, your 46 call is quite expensive, costing $350. Now remember, when the stock is trading at 49, and the option is 40. It's the 46 call. So you already have $3 of intrinsic value in there, so to speak. So you're basically paying 50 cents extra for that, if you can see how that works. Try not to cough on the air, so bear with me. So that's why this is $3.50, and you're telling me that I'm fading in and out, and that's probably what's happening here at the end of the day. I'm fading in and out. Let me close some of these browser tabs that we don't need to have open, and that might help things. And let me close Skype here. Hopefully that'll help. And even Windows Explorer. And I have the shout box up, so let's close that. Thank you for the feedback, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, and if you hear the audio cutting in and out, that's only because I'm still getting over this cold, and I left my water in the other room at the start of the show, and I didn't want to delay things, so I'm kind of missing my water. All right. So here we are, 350, and look at the day here as it proceeds, trading up in this range until noontime or so, and then we started coming down a little bit. I don't know exactly when that news came out about the lawsuit, but somewhere here around 1340, which is about 1:40 p.m. Eastern, is when things started taking a little dive, and that's where you see these option prices now moving down. So from this 350 range, we move down all the way here to 182, and as we step ahead, I'm going to see if I can get the chart on the screen at the same time. If I let me zoom in like that and change my scale. Oh, didn't want to do that. I need to change this to a hand, and I can't see it. Alright, there's pan, and zoom out. Okay, I think I got this too stretched out. Bear with me a second. Put that back to auto scale, and move that over. Okay, so I think we can really just gotta get rid of these stochastics because I don't really care about them right now. And get my chart back up. Alright. So here's the point. Here's the stock moving down, down, down. So here it was up at 49. It comes down here to 46. Now you're in the 44 range. And this is the level that Johnny starts talking about. He's picking up some shares here, 44 and a quarter. He picks up some more down here at 43 or so. You see it has a low print at 42.71. All in this chop. Look at the value of the options. Okay? The options here are, let me scoot this over so I get the value. The value here from this candle here, which is 3:06 p.m. That's 15:06, so that's right before this purple circle I drew in, 15:06. From this range here all the way out to really the last sale was done at 3:54 p.m. You see that tight range for the option from $1.32, and then it creeps up, creeps up, creeps up. It finished at $2. If I change the scaling on this, maybe it'll seem more significant. So watch what happens. So here's the buying of the stocks, okay, and you could do that. Let's say you bought 50 shares of 50 shares. So you have 100 shares at $43, $43.50, let's call it. So that's $4,000, $4,350 that you put into the trade. When it comes to the option, you could buy one contract for $132 right here. And this has a volume of 3. And I could tell you, I have it on good authority, that at least one of these 3, if not all 3, was our buddy RJ grabbing those contracts at this level, 132. That's at 1522, and that is right at this candle here, 1522. So not even the low on the stock was the low on the option. As it hit this low, this was the 1526 candle, the option was actually had moved up in value by a penny or two. Okay? But here's the rebound at the end of the day. Now, you could have sold this at the end of the day, let's say at the $45 mark, and booked a $1.50 profit, right? So on 100 shares, you would have made $150. In this case, you could have bought one contract for 132. At the end of the day, sold it for 2, and that would have profited you $70. So here's a great question. How much is $70 on $1.32? That's 53% profit versus $1.50 on $43.50. That's a 3% profit. So that's the power of options. And I'm not saying they always work out this way, but here's a low risk, really, putting up $132. You could buy 2 of them, $264. At the end of the day, you'd made $140. Just another way of doing things. I mean, again, there's no way to know it was going to bounce up that high, and you could have got out at this high, 2.25. It looks like the high was 222, so you would have even made more money. And there's no way to know you're going to grab that low or grab that high. You could average in just like Johnny averaged in with the stock. You might have bought this option at 179, and then got this one at $1.35. Buy one, buy one. Sell out here. You're still going to make a profit. Anyway, that's just something I wanted to share. RJ was kind enough to get me the details on his dalliance there. And let's see, today is February 5th. There was a post that came out during the After Hours show, and I didn't see it until Kumar was mentioning FT71, so I pulled up the Twitter feed, and we had a tweet from Daytrader Rockstar as of 5:30 p.m. This is what he posted. Just got off the phone with Guy Gentile, CEO and founder of SureTrader, for our weekly update and to touch base. He's currently adding customer service staff as they are currently overwhelmed with applications. Seems like people these days do not want to be held back by the 25K pattern day trading rule. More about this on a past post, and there's a link there for it. They now have over 10,000 symbols available for shorting, including the cheap stuff. Also, they now offer 1% cash back on an account of $5,000 or more, limited to $500. Kind of reminds me of Chase credit cards. Anyway, for those who do not have $25,000, this is still the best and only option out there, not to mention the 6-to-1 margin rates intraday, which allows a small account to take advantage of some better quality scalps. I currently use the SureTrader account and trade with the 6-to-1 margin each day with my scalps. One thing is important, and that is to remember this is intraday margin and should be used to intraday trade only. SureTrader will go the extra mile for Daytrading Radio members, meaning bonus promotional add-on. So be sure to mention daytradingradio.com or just follow this link, and he gives a link in the announcement. So this went out on a tweet. I don't know if it also went out on an email or not, but take a look for that. And if you're interested in a SureTrader account, then I'd suggest you look into it. Definitely a way to get around the pattern day trading rules for your accounts if you have a small size account. And, $5,000 is not insignificant either to call it a small size account. But apparently to the SEC, or if that's, I think that's the organization, or is it FINRA, whoever sets that pattern day trading standard, they feel that $5,000 is insignificant. So they hold you to this pattern day trading rule. This is a way to get around that because the short trader account is based in the, I believe it's the Bahamas, or at least in another country. So not saying it affects your taxes differently, but at least you can avoid the pattern day trading rule, and you get a 6-to-1 margin, where most of your brokers, if you have $5,000, you're probably getting 2-to-1. So that could help you there as well. And if you want to open up the options with them, then I take that back. You don't get 6-to-1 options margin. That is just with the stocks. But enjoy that, and that's the end of the show. So I'm going to put some tunes on for you guys. I'll leave the ES here on the screen. Here's the volume profile. Again, not as pretty as Kumar's volume profile, or I should say Ninja Pro's volume profile. But we'll see how that's going. And let me take a look at the latest with the futures. We see oil's down 2 cents, trading at 96.62. The 6E euro is down 0.0007 at 135.81. Silver is down 8.5 cents to 31.79. And yet copper is up 6 thousandths of a penny, 6.5 thousandths, at $3.7765. And what I could do is put the currencies up on the screen, and I'll leave the we also had the earnings. Can't think of the word. Drawing a blank. We had the earnings there as well. We see how they were doing after hours, and we'll see how they do in the morning. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock. And I got a questionnaire about short trader with futures. I'll click the link that Johnny has here, and I believe they do. Let me see here. Open an account. Let's say I was going to open an account. Account types. Individual. Oh, no, I got to register. Let's go commissions. There is equities and options. I don't see futures mentioned. So if I'm wrong on that, then you can ask about that in the morning, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm reading this right, yeah, I don't see reference to futures here. So, okay. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. This is Briguy on Daytrading.radio.com, and we'll see you guys in the morning. Enjoy the rest of your night.